Hi, this is Pete again with Boomers in the Kitchen, another edition. Again, you can get all of our recipes and fun videos on our website, boomerswithbeverages.com. Today we're going to go into another Italian classic, my soon-to-be famous Pete's Meatballs. So let's get started right away. Again, this is a great recipe you're going to love. I do want to provide a disclaimer though. If you do this recipe and you make it exactly like I tell you how to do, you're going to be spoiled. You will never have another meatball that will be as good as this. But I think it's a risk worth taking. So let's get started here. I want to get yourself a big mixing bowl. And the recipe that's on the website calls for 1.5 pounds of meat. I like to use 1 pound of ground beef and 1/2 pound of mild Italian sausage. You can use all ground beef if you'd like. I prefer an 80-20 mix. You want a little bit of fat in the meat to provide some flavor. I'm going to put it in the sauce. It'll mix with everything. That's my preferred. Some people will use 1/3 of veal, 1/3 of ground beef, and 1/3 of pork. So it's really up to you. So we're going to put the meat here in the bowl. And then again, these are very simple ingredients. We're going to use some garlic powder, breadcrumbs, cheese, salt, pepper, egg, and water. And then I'll tell you about my secret ingredient here in just a little bit. So we have the meat in here. We're going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of some garlic powder. So let's just put that in the mix here. We're going to add 1/2 cup of Italian breadcrumbs. You can use regular breadcrumbs if you like. I just have a preference for the Italian ones. I don't know that it really makes that much of a difference. So let's get that going here. We're going to add 2 eggs. So 1 and 2. We're going to add about 1/4 cup of cheese. I prefer Parmesan Reggiano cheese, but you can use straight Parmesan if you like. A Parmesan Pecorino cheese is a nice touch as well, because Pecorino has a little bit more of a sharp flavor. And I use 1/4 cup here. You can play around if you want a little bit more. Again, remember, cooking is more of an art form, where baking is more of a science. That's why we leave that stuff to our fellow boomer, Dan. And then we want to add 1/4 cup of water. And then my secret ingredient, about a heaping teaspoon of ricotta cheese. Regular ricotta cheese, don't use the low-fat stuff. The reason I like this, and this is kind of a recent addition to my recipe, is that it makes the meatballs a little less dense and a little more moist. So go ahead and add that. Now the next step is we want to actually just make sure we get everything mixed together in the bowl. Use your hands, dive in, and start to mix and make sure everything is very consistent. All right, now that everything is evenly mixed, we have our nice big ball of mixed for meatballs here. So now we're going to form them into meatballs. What I didn't mention earlier was, before you start this process, make sure that you have your oven preheated to 350 degrees. So you want to have like a little bit of a staging area here. I have my cooking sheet here that I use to put the meatballs on. I want to give a nice plug to a company called Silpat, which is a French company, but these are incredibly efficient silicone mats to put on your cooking sheets. They're non-stick, makes life a lot easier. In the past, I used to put aluminum foil here, but I like this much better. So, got my handy assistant here getting stuff out of the way. So here's a little bit of a pro tip here. So because all this, you're using some pork, you're using some beef here, using a lot of ingredients, it can get a little sticky. So what I like to do is put a little olive oil on my hands here, rub it around. It makes forming the meatballs a lot easier. So again, just grab some meat here, roll it into a ball. However size you like it, it's totally up to you. The recipe that you see online at our website, www.boomerswithbeverages.com, will yield about 12 to 14 meatballs. So you're going to do this multiple times, form your meatballs, put them on the tray here, and continue until everything is done. All right, here we go, back, and here are the meatballs. We actually came out with an even dozen for this batch. This is about the size that my family likes them. Again, you can do whatever size that you like. So what we want to do now that our oven is preheated to 350, walk over, put it on the middle rack, close the door, and set your timer for 15 minutes. We're going to let these partially cook for 15 minutes, then we're going to take them out, put them in the sauce, and let them simmer and cook the rest of the way. All right, we're back. We have our beautiful meatballs here. We've taken out of the oven after 15 minutes at 350 degrees. So now we're going to transfer into the spaghetti sauce. And what I really like about this silpat padding here that we talked about earlier is see how easy the meatballs will come off there, no sticking. So let's put these in. And again, you want to use a very small simmer. Everything will cook evenly. All the flavors will mix together, and these will be absolutely fabulous. Put the rest in later. That's it. Put the lid back on if you want. Let them simmer. Enjoy by themselves. Cut open, sprinkle with a little bit of Parmesan cheese or Parmesan Reggiano. Enjoy with spaghetti as well. And that's it. Hope you enjoy it. Bon appetit.